Okay, here we are. We're back again. This is take like, oh gosh, three maybe? So I found out right after I finished doing a bunch of these reviews that some of those copyright free playlists aren't actually copyright free. So be careful about that. Anyway, so here's a minor public announcement. I'm not a woman, and because of that, I'm probably not the best person to talk about the substance, but I saw the movie, so we're going to talk about it, because I actually have quite a bit to say on this movie. So to start, let's talk about what the substance is actually about. An aging, well, I don't know about aging, a middle-aged Hollywood star, her show gets canned, so her only option she sees is something called the substance, which if you take, it births a younger version of yourself out of your back, and then you can switch between the two bodies for that time, for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but that's sort of your only option, is this switching between those two forever until you, I guess, cancel your subscription plan. And I'm gonna be very real with you guys. I did not like the substance. Not really. To start, excuse me, we should probably talk about the positives. I think the acting is really good across the board. I think it's really good. I think they have some cool cinematography shots. And you know, that's kind of it. Well, that's not true. The story, I can really see why they went all in on the story, and they thought people would love it. So to start about how I was introduced to it, I was initially like under the impression it was very like horror. It's been advertised as horror and like gore and all that. I would not call it a horror movie, that's for sure. There's like a very minor gore in it, I think. And there's God, what else even is there in that movie? That's kind of the extent of it. And it's really more of a thriller. And one thing I didn't really enjoy was the length. It is a very long movie, and it certainly feels like you are watching a very long movie when you sit down to actually watch it all the way through. I can't really say I was a big fan, because those 2 hours really felt like it. And one thing that really kind of threw me off is that the movie feels very, like, needlessly cruel and cynical. And I guess that's kind of the point, right? Like, a major part of the movie is illustrating how people are treated solely based off of their appearance, right? And their body type or whatever. It's all about appearances in Hollywood. We don't care about your personality, and if you're old, you're out. It's all about those young women, and I don't know, it really felt weirdly cynical. And I get the reason for that is because, you know, that's the major theme of the movie, and also there's plenty of other like points in the movie that completely counteract my complaints, right? There's plenty of points where people tell the protagonist she's fine just the way she is. And she is perfectly fine at that age, and she can still do whatever she wants, you know? I just don't really like its depiction of people, though. It's really, like, shallow. And I hate to use the word shallow when describing the substance, because a lot of people describe the movie as shallow. And I disagree. I think there's a lot of, like, there was a lot of thought behind every event in the story, and I think they did a good job executing their ideas. I don't know. There just seems to be a real weird lack of humanity anywhere in the movie. And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe the point is our protagonist is so detached from everything in the world around her, she can't even perceive the humanity in others besides like the people who are cruel to her, you know? Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true and I'm just wrong. I mean, I don't really know if I'm the best person to be reviewing this anyway, because I am a man. I am not a woman, so I can't really attest to the woman experience, especially in Hollywood, and being willing to like sacrifice everything for stardom, even like my own humanity. But I don't know. There's just something so weirdly. The most horrific part of the movie to me is just like how weirdly one-sided and one-dimensional everybody in the movie is at times. And granted, that's no fault of the actors. Everybody does a fantastic job. I don't even think they're meant to be one-dimensional. I think there's plenty of people who have... Okay, I think it's actually only the protagonist, maybe, who has, like, a lot of depth to their character. I think everyone else is kind of like, just kind of not really. But that's not the point. They don't need to have depth to their character to say the story they're trying to. But it just doesn't sit right with me. And maybe that's a flaw of my own for, like, wanting to see the good in people. I don't know. I said this in one of the prior takes, but I'll say it again. As I get older, I like more positive stories. I like things that show off the good in people. And it feels real weird that in the substance that's minus like a couple character interactions, it feels pretty absent. And I don't know. I just think the movie would benefit from like more of a focus on humanity or like the good of others, if that makes sense. I don't know. Granted, I do think the story perfectly works for the one they're trying to tell, but man, it really feels long. It really, really feels like a long movie. I mean, I can basically summarize it point by point, and I feel like they could have cut out maybe an hour of it. It's protagonist in bad spot, protagonist takes substance, protagonist uses substance for a while, all good. Protagonist misuses substance and starts like going crazy. Protagonist ruins everything, and then protagonist has bad ending. Like, that's kind of it. I hate to sound so cynical about the movie itself, but it really like is just so, I don't know. There's such a lack of like hope in the movie, and that's the point, right? The point is to illustrate how bad this industry really is, taking advantage of young women, and how bad it is for somebody's self-worth to be solely dictated on their appearance. And like, what was it? Comparison is the theft of joy, something like that. And how even as you're older, there's still tons of people who value you and care for you, and you shouldn't just let that like impulsive drive to be in a specific spot take over your life. But there's just something so missing with the movie, and I don't really care for like their commentary on it, because it just feels, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like well made. And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe it's satire, and I'm just looking way too deep into it. And that very well could be true. Once again, I'm not a woman. I cannot say whether or not this was done well. This is why, I guess one of the reasons I kind of thought I should upload a review of The Substance is because I couldn't really find that many actual reviews of it. The few I did watch mostly only really had positive things to say about it, and I think that's fine. I think me not liking it is definitely really on me, you know? And I feel like a lot of people can see value in this movie, and it probably will resonate a lot more with others than it will me, and that's okay. I'm okay with not every piece of media being tailored to my taste or whatever. But I wish The Substance just had something like more real going for it. I don't know. I don't want super realism like The Substance. This isn't even a thing. It just feels like every interaction in this was made specifically like artificially. No interaction in this movie feels like authentic, like the human experience or for like the story they're trying to tell. And maybe that's just because I'm not a woman in like the showbiz industry, right? But I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. There's a lot of things in the movie that I think probably could be a little better. I think sometimes it's like some stuff is painfully drawn out, and just they really emphasize points that are obvious to the audience, but that's okay. Man, if you're going for a horror movie, this ain't it, man. And if you're going for a thriller, I don't really think that's it either. Like, almost nothing happens until the very, very end. There's a lot of, like, tension randomly in certain parts, but I don't know, that's kinda it. I really just don't mess with, like, most of it. I don't know. I don't think, like, the gore is anything special. I'm not really the type of guy who's gonna go see a movie just for the gore either, right? So that one's probably on me. But I don't know. I feel like there's nothing really here drawing me unless the story really hooks you. I think I liked the substance more when I didn't actually know what it was about, or I just had, like, a vague notion that it had something to do with, like, getting younger. I don't know. It just doesn't click with me. And that's okay. Not everything has to. But I just wish the movie was a little less cynical. It doesn't really feel like a well-done modern Jekyll and Hyde. It just feels like a 2-hour movie about body swapping gone wrong. And I don't know. For all the hype, I kind of expected more. Maybe that's on me. Maybe it's just because I just can't really get into it. I don't know. I just wish it was, like, had some sort of, like, I don't want to say realness, but there's just something missing. The substance doesn't have, like, the sauce. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's really all I got. It sucks because I really wanted to like this movie, but watching it, I was like, man, this just feels really long, and it feels like, I don't know. It just feels like a movie a bunch of people came up with. And I don't mean that, like, as a derogatory word or anything, because, you know, there's plenty of movies that are just movies people came up with. But this one really just, it doesn't click with me. And for that, I'm sorry. But I do not mess with the substance. But you guys might. I mean, as said, I fully recognize that my problems with the movie may just be, like, the way they expressed this story that they wanted to tell. There's nothing wrong with the way they said the story. It didn't really resonate with me. I know it resonated for some people. I was reading some reviews, and quite a few people said, like, they laughed in like the ending sequence. If you haven't seen the movie, if you watch it, you'll think it's a little weird to like laugh. I think it's not really, like, I think it's a very weird sequence, but I would not call it, like, laughing. Another person said they cried during the ending sequence. I don't know. Maybe you could. I don't know. I don't really think it's, like, really a smooth ride. And the movie just feels so long. God, if they just made it a little shorter, I think we'd be in a much better boat. I could kind of talk circles about the length of the movie and just the lack of humanity in it all day. But at the end of the day, this will largely be colored on your experience and how you think this movie represents everything. And if it's satire, which I'm pretty sure it is, yeah, that's fine. It does its job. I'm happy they enjoyed making the movie. I think some scenes in it are really good, but I don't really like the substance, and I think that's okay. But if you've seen it, please let me know what you think, because God, man, I don't really know who it's made for, like, at all. And I'd kill to know for sure. So yeah, that's it.